Coming up next on AVID Achievers, we'll be talking about the benefits and opportunities for students taking classes at AACC. Hello, I'm Jennifer, the host of AVID Achievers, and today we're talking about the benefits and opportunities that students can have going through AACC. Sarah, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here.
That's great. When did AACC open?
In 1961, it opened, and it has grown to the largest single campus community college in Maryland, serving over 27,000 students.
That's awesome. If I were to have guessed, I would have said that it would have been about 50 years for servicing the public. So I guess I was kind of close.
Close.
Yeah, close. Okay. How many programs are offered?
So we have 93 degrees, and we have 73 certificates. And we have both credit and non-credit, which you could consider workforce development courses. So we've been supporting Anne Arundel County students of all ages in determining and being able to access an educational pathway that serves them for, getting into their first career, being a career changer, maybe just getting a certification, or maybe just exploring personal enrichment, just something that they've had passion about.
That's wonderful. And I know that when I was in college, some of my classes were kind of difficult, and I ended up having to retake them in the summer, and I went through AACC because it was cheaper and I could be at home and I wouldn't be distracted, from all of my friends at school. And I've lived probably for the last 30 years close to the community college, and I'm so surprised at how much growth I've seen, not only with the main campus, but also with the buildings and more land, and then all of these different opportunities that I've learned about over the years.
And we have you've seen the amazing new health sciences building,
Mm-hmm.
and also the skilled trades building, which houses a lot of our workforce development courses.
When I taught careers at North County, I took my students to the skills trade building, and I was really impressed. They had HVAC, electrical, diesel, just a lot of different things, and the students were really excited about that too. How long ago did they create that?
It's only been open a few years. I don't have the exact date in mind. We had a big opening for it, a big celebration with community. The building was built on donations, and the foundation, our AACC Foundation, was instrumental in getting that opened. And it's really been able to serve a lot of students and get them directly into amazing paying careers that they've always dreamed of.
So with all of the different programs and certificates that are offered, what are some of the more popular ones?
So transfer studies is always our most popular, but we have so many different degrees that students can take, and just because you don't major in transfer studies, you can still transfer. So we've got programs in healthcare, technology, business, and to drill down, we've got an amazing nursing program which has been able to expand with the new health and life sciences building. We've computer science, cybersecurity, engineering, biology. These are some of the really popular ones, including business administration, psychology, and then of course our non-credit workforce development has a whole plethora of different programs that students can access. So you mentioned some that are at the Skilled Trade Center. So we have plumbing, electrical, carpentry, welding, HVAC, CDL if you want to be a driver, dental assisting, even vet assisting, which is really cool.
And one that I don't know why surprised me, but there's something with casinos?
Yes, we have Casino Dealer School. And I believe it's still mostly held out at our Arundel Mills location. And it has gotten many people into really great careers.
So how many different locations are there?
So there's the main campus at Arnold. There is Arundel Mills, which houses our, in addition to other programs, our Teach Institute, and then we have the Sarah Carter building at Glen Burnie. Many people know it as the Glen Burnie Town Center, and that has our some of our HCAT courses, which are our culinary courses, and then just a whole host of other programs.
And, expanding so much, what type of accolades have you guys had recently?
So, just kind of to go through some of the brand new ones, because there's a whole long list. The Northeast Region Best Associate Degree RN Programs for 2024 by nursingprocess.org. We were named #1, which is amazing. In 2024, we were named the Gold Military Friendly School for services and resources provided to military and veteran students and families, which is extremely exciting. Most people know Rochester Institute of Technology, known as RIT, and we are the only community college and one of only 7 colleges to be part of the coalition to address cybersecurity talent shortage.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. And I would say like maybe within the last 5 to 7 years, weren't you guys voted like one of the top 3 community colleges on the East Coast? That's impressive.
We've had top 14 culinary. We've just had a number of different accolades.
That's wonderful. And when I worked at AVID in the high school, I know that we had a partnership with AccuPlacer, and someone would come out from the community college and they would talk to our sophomore and junior classes about AccuPlacer and the importance of the test and how to study, and then they'd come out and proctor the test, and then the students, if they wanted to go to the community college, could use those scores. They wouldn't have to take the test on their own, on campus. They wouldn't have to pay for it because it was free through our partnership. What other types of partnerships are available for students in our county?
And that still happens, and other students who want to do the AccuPlacer, not just AVID, we can also have people from the college come out and help them with that. I'm most involved with the dual enrollment. So again, just to set the stage, dual enrollment is when a high school student is taking a college course. In support of the Blueprint for Maryland's Future, we have seen, even before Blueprint, we've seen an increase in dually enrolled students, so students coming from AACPS and elsewhere to AACC. This fall we had, I guess, a record number with 1,600 high school students dually enrolling at AACC. It's amazing. And the collaboration between the college and high schools and other middle schools even it's just growing. It's like every day we have a new idea where we can collaborate, and the main purpose of that obviously is to give opportunities to students. So dual enrollment is a big way of doing that. We partner with each of the high schools, and we send community college professors into the high school to teach college courses. Those college courses are part of pathways that were determined that are signature aligned. So if students are participating in the signature line pathways, they can start in, I'd say, the comfort of their own high school with the supports of their high school around them, in addition to everything AACC offers, and they can take courses.
What do you mean by signature pathways?
So each high school has its identified signature, and AACC and AACPS partnered to identify a sequence of usually 6 AACC courses that and deemed that a pathway. And so, for example, Meade is on Fort Meade Military Base, and their signature is Homeland Security. So the pathway is Homeland Security Management. Broadneck is Environmental Literacy, and the pathway is an Environmental Science pathway. Again, it's really the first term and a half that a student might take in their degree, and they started at their high school in their junior year as kind of like a cohort of about 15 to 20 students. And then senior year, AACPS provides buses to take the students from their high school to an AACC, the closest AACC location, so that the students can continue and actually have the full-blown college experience.
And is this just for signature students?
It can be, depending on the school, it can be anyone in the school who is participating in that specific signature pathway who has interest.
Okay, so students can take classes as early as junior year and earn college credit. And then if they didn't want to take those classes for whatever reason, maybe they're not interested in that, for, at their high school, could they go to the community college, or could they take classes still offered online that they can take?
Yep.
So there's a number of ways.
Exactly. And so students who are in 11th and 12th grade, if you have seen the awesome new AACPS website, I love it. It's so organized, clean, and wonderful. There are the criteria for students to dually enroll and receive additional AACPS ECAP benefits, which means their full classes up to 4 classes per year would be covered. So tuition, fees, textbooks, all required materials, if they are eligible. And again, the AACPS website specifies that eligibility criteria, and if they're taking a course that's on the approved dual enrollment list. So it's really important to work with school counselors to determine your eligibility for that program. Students can also dually enroll in any AACC course that they're eligible for, meaning they meet the prerequisites, and get a 25% tuition discount. And again, all of those processes, the paperwork for that, it's very minimal, is on the aacc.edu website. And like I said, I would encourage students to confer with their counselors to determine their eligibility and which is the best route for them to take.
Okay, and then are there certain days where maybe the professors at the high school location or other people from the community college would come out to help anybody enroll for the community college, either whether it's ECAP or they're a senior and they're going to transfer to the community college?
Yeah, so we have a number of staff. Many of our staff are devoted to that process. So we have admissions officers who are each school has their own assigned admissions officer who is there to help. They help students of all ages, but a lot of their time is spent supporting the high school students, especially since this would be their first time doing an application and enrolling in an AACC course. In addition, we have transition advisors at 5 high schools. So they're AACC staff who work 20 hours per week, and they're housed in the high school. So we have North County, South River, Annapolis, Glen Burnie, that's new this year, and Arundel. They're 20 hours per week, and they're really there to meet the students where they are, what they need. If a student maybe comes to them and says, I'm not sure college is for me, I'm not sure AACC is for me, I'm not sure what I want to do with my life. Any of those questions that are coming to them, they'll either be referred to the AACC transition advisor, or they might just kind of come in during open office hours, maybe during the flex block. So they're there to help them navigate. They'll put them in touch. Maybe they're having difficulty with financial aid. They'll put them in touch with the financial aid office. Or like you said, they want to transfer. So they'll connect them directly with our transfer advisors. So really, again, like I said, meeting the students where they are and addressing those needs. They're not recruiting, trying to get everyone to come to AACC. They're really looking at what the students need. If the student wants to work right after high school, they might be working on identifying some non-credit programs or certifications they can get if they didn't get them while in their AACPS programs.
And then let's say that students took classes their junior and senior year, they were successful, and then they wanted to continue with AACC. Would they have to reapply after graduation, or once they're in, they're into the system?
Once they're in, they're in. So we might have, say a kid starts in Kids in College in 3rd grade, 5th grade, maybe they're doing Python programming. That's actually a 3rd through 5th grade program this year. And then they come and they dually enroll in Intro to Psych. And then after they graduate, they get their associates in cybersecurity. Then they decide 10 years later they want to change and be a nurse. They can come back and do our nursing program. One account, one AACC ID.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for being here today. I've learned a lot, and I'm so happy that we partnership with the college, because obviously there's so many benefits that hopefully our AACPS students can take advantage of.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. We'll be right back with more AVID Achievers. Welcome back to AVID Achievers. With me in the studio is Allison Ballard. Allie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
What high school did you go to?
Broadneck High School.
Now, usually students in high school don't even think about taking college classes until after they've graduated. what made you decide, hey, I think I'm going to take college classes my senior year?
So I knew that I wanted to play lacrosse in college, so I had to start looking at the end of my sophomore year, beginning of my junior year. So that kind of gave me a leg up to know where to look and to start thinking about college classes. And my counselors had brought up the amazing opportunity of taking classes at AACC, and I wanted to kind of figure out what I wanted to do, maybe get some prerequisites out of the way. So I started looking into it and then decided to take a few.
Okay, and what classes did you take?
So I took History of Homicide, Introduction to Sociology, Introduction to Criminology, and then Introduction to Psychology.
Those are some really interesting classes.
Yeah, they were.
Were there any that you liked more than others?
So I really liked the History of Homicide class. It kind of brought me into the criminal justice field a bit. I knew I wanted to go for something related to crime or forensics or criminal justice, just wasn't sure quite what. And so that I knew I was going to interest me a lot. And then I really ended up liking Intro to Sociology, which I didn't think I was going to like, but I ended up absolutely loving it. So.
That's great. Were you nervous about taking college level classes?
Yeah, I was really nervous, but my high school schedule, I believe each, well, now it's a semester, but the first 2 quarters, I only had a class or 2 with how my schedule ended up working out. And then I also was playing lacrosse, so I was nervous about doing 3 sports during the year and then also taking classes, but it ended up working out really well. They weren't much harder. Since I had already taken a couple APs, I thought that it would be around the same, and some of the college classes were actually easier than my AP classes were. So.
Nice, and I know that a lot of the students have that misconception because they're used to, the traditional classes like going to school from 7:20 a.m. until 2:30, and then doing sports, and they're like, oh my gosh, even if they don't have to take a full schedule, they have to, if they take these community classes, then they're going to be adding an additional workload on. So time management really comes into play. But when you're taking the classes at the community college, it's every other day, correct? Or how was it for you?
So I had set it up to where I had one Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then my other one was Tuesday, Thursday. So.
And they were about an hour and a half or an hour?
About an hour and a half. It varied between classes, though.
Okay, and then I hear that for every hour in college, you should spend 2 hours outside doing work, or maybe that varies depending on the class?
It definitely varies depending on the class. The teachers are a lot more laid back than they are in high school. I will say that, and that's another reason why I wanted to take the ECAP classes, was to kind of show me how a college class would be, how the structure would be, because all I had was my high school teacher telling me how that would be, and they honestly didn't really know. It had been a long time since some of them had been in college. But I would say I probably spent about an hour out of class reading for every hour I spent in class. It wasn't too much more than that.
Okay. And then now that you're a senior at McDaniel, looking back over the last 3 to 4 years, how did you benefit other than, getting a leg up and understanding what a college level class would be like?
So one, I originally thought I wanted to go in for forensics, and then when I took the criminal justice class, I realized that forensics was not at all what I wanted to do. Criminal justice was. So I didn't, I don't want to say waste, but I didn't necessarily take a semester or 2 figuring it out or having to take classes that I was then going to get rid of later and not use. So I would say if anyone doesn't quite know what they're going to do, just take intro classes and find out what you really like. And then also, because I took 4 classes, that was a full semester. So I had a full semester already going towards my major, and I got out of the intro level classes, which can be a little bit boring sometimes, and they're harder to fill. That's another thing. Once you get to college, it's harder to get into intro classes. They don't quite fit as well with your schedule. So I had those out of the way, and because I finished a semester early, I could have graduated a semester early, but instead now I'm going abroad to Budapest for 4.5 months. So it opened up that opportunity for me that I wouldn't have had otherwise.
That's wonderful. And what are you going to study in Budapest?
So I actually picked up another minor because I had finished early. So I'm going to study political science, which is going to help me with trying to go to law school a lot.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, what, could you talk about your major And then you said another minor. So what all are you studying at
So I'm
McDaniel?
I'm majoring in criminal justice, which is a subfield of sociology at my school. And then I'm doing history and political science.
Okay. So thinking back to your senior year, like you just had no idea all the doors that would open to you because you took ECAP classes in high school.
Absolutely. I definitely did not.
That's wonderful. Well, Allie, thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Stay tuned for more AVID Achievers.
We're excited to be out here today to visit our crossing guards, to show them that we support them, but to also have this opportunity to connect with the community, the students and the parents.
Good morning. I'm doing good. All right. Look at all you guys.
Kids off to a good start this year?
It's a great opportunity for us to meet our crossing guards, for them to meet us, and then also to greet our kids as they're on their way into school this morning.
We also know the importance of having crossing guards across our county as we continue to grow in student enrollment.
I'd like to thank all of the people who have stepped up and actually applied to become and have become crossing guards. They play a very critical role here in our community with making sure that our kids arrive to school and depart from school safely. For those of you who have flexible schedules, you could come out and help our kids get to and from school every day simply by applying for the crossing guard position within our police department. It's certainly a need. We have several vacancies and we could really use your help. Our phone number is 410-222-1995. If you give us a call and you're willing to help us out, particularly our kids, we'd love to have you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to AVID Achievers. Joining me in the studio is Ikram. Ikram, thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Now, what high school did you go to?
I went to Glen Burnie High School.
And you were in the AVID program?
Yes, I was in the AVID program from my sophomore year, junior, and senior year.
And did you always know that you wanted to go to college?
Yes, I always knew I wanted to go to college because that's my opportunity out of like low-income family. So yeah.
Okay, and why did you decide to go the community college route first?
The main reason why I decided to go to community college is because it was close by, and also another reason is that I didn't know exactly what my major will be, so I wanted to figure out what my major will be in a low cost, low stress area. So I figured out my major while I was in community college. Yeah.
Nice. And how was your overall experience? Now, were you there for 2 years?
Yes, I
Okay.
was there for 2 years.
How was your overall experience there?
My overall experience was great because I realized that the first semester of college or like community college is not the easiest transferring from high school, because high school there's more of like hand holding. There's none of that for the most part in college higher level education. So I realized that, and I realized how to study and like work by myself and also join clubs and everything at community college. Yep.
Okay, so you didn't just go and take classes and then go home.
No.
So you were a part of some clubs. What clubs did you do?
Yes, I was a part of the SGA, and I think I was also a part of, they restarted it while I was there, and the computer science club. Once I transferred to computer science, I joined that club as well, and yes.
And computer science was your major?
Yes, I was studying, I started out as engineering studies, but then I changed my major to transfer of computer science. So.
And what was it that you decided to change your major? Was it like the type of classes? Was it the professors, or like how did you decide? And I know a lot of people, think that they want to do something and then they get to college and they figure out something else, which is great, because you never know until you experience different things. So what was it for you that led you to change your major?
Okay, I would say it was a combination of like my professors and my advisors, and of course the classes that I was taking. I realized that I was mostly interested in the math aspect of it, which computer science encompasses. The engineering route had more science and more like biology and such, and I didn't enjoy some of the classes that I would have to be taking, so I realized that computer science was for me because of that. And I talked to my advisors and professors, and then they said that seems right for you too. So yeah.
Well, that's great. Where did you transfer afterwards?
I went to UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Yeah.
And was it difficult to transfer from the community college to UMBC?
Not at all. They literally have advisors that from UMBC that are dedicated to helping community college students transition into UMBC's settings easier. Yeah.
And do you know, is it true that if you do well at the community college, you can basically get into any of the Maryland schools?
Yes. For me, I got accepted to all the schools. I think I applied to 3 or 4. So UMBC, UMD, Towson. I think those are like my top 3. So I got accepted to all of them that I have applied to. So yeah.
That's great. And looking back now, what other benefits aside from like saving money and experiencing what college level classes were like would you say you experienced through the route of going to community college first?
I would say just having the smaller environment, it was so good to join like clubs and like make real like connections with people, because I realized I tried to join, so I did SJ in community college, and then I tried to do the same thing in UMBC. It was so large, like they had like 2,000 people, I believe, so I wasn't even able to get my foot in the door there because they wanted like freshmen to join in and then level up. So I would say just like that community, and if you wanted to stay after school, some people just come for their class and go home, but if you wanted to stay after school, it's like available there for you, and the people are like more personable. It's just a few of us, so yeah, you feel like you can build community there.
That's great, and I'm so glad that everything worked out for you as far as going to community college and then transferring to UMBC.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate you being here today and sharing your experience.
Yes, of course, thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of AVID Achievers, and don't be afraid to take advantage of all your opportunities because you never know where they're going to lead.